everyone. I'm Ashleigh Banfield. Welcome to Primetime Justice. Testimony has just finished up, in fact, a short time ago, on day one of the murder-for-hire retrial of one Dalia Dippolito. If you don't remember her, this might help. She was convicted back in 2011 for the whole hiring an undercover cop to kill your husband business. And she got 20 years in prison for it, too. But then an appeal actually was successful, and that conviction was tossed. So now the prosecutors are gunning for her again, this 34-year-old woman, trying to convict her on the charges that she hired a hitman to kill her husband. And if you need a reminder of why this case is so darn fascinating, well, one, there's the internet, and then also there's all of this undercover video of the whole process.
Sure you want to kill what he's doing?
I'm positive, like 5,000% sure.
We had a report of a disturbance at your house, and there were shots fired. Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, man. He's been killed. He's been killed, man. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
He's alive.
Come here, please. Come here. Mike, come here.
Surprise. Surprise, he's alive. That's why it made such an internet sensation. And in court today, the prosecutor's narrative was pretty straightforward. This is a simple case, murder for hire. But Dalia's attorneys are planning to prove something else. That she, instead, the victim of police. Yes, that she was the victim of the police. Because the cops were trying to get famous by being on a TV show called Cops. Follow me? Terri Parker does, because she was in court and she knows the story back to front. She's an investigative reporter for a CNN affiliate, WPVF, and she's live with me now. It almost makes me laugh every time I see that video, and I can laugh. Honestly, Terry, I can laugh because he did not die. It didn't happen, and so seeing her break down and seeing the cops all in on the game, knowing that this was all baloney, it's almost delightful because it's a trap. So work with me here and give me an idea of the feeling of this case as we get those opens. And for our viewers, Terry, I'm going to play the prosecutor, because sometimes what the jury hears first is what sets the tone and sets them on their course for a verdict. So have a listen to the prosecutor.
What's great about this case, it is based 100% on Ms. Dippolito's words, her actions, and her intent. 100%. August 5th, 2009, the day of the hit, the police surveil her house in the morning. And of course, a little after 5:30 in the morning, guess who leaves? She leaves to go work out at the gym so her husband can get 2 bullets in the head and be murdered inside her own home.
Well, that's, of course, not all right, Terry. There's always the open for the defense as well. The defense says, no, this is all about the police, and they're the bad guys. So have a listen real quick to Brian Claypool, the defense attorney.
This is a case about a rogue police department, the Boynton Beach Police Department. This department was more dead set on generating an episode of Cops TV. The Google are supposed to protect and serve. The evidence in this case will show this police department was deceiving and manipulating for their own fame and notoriety.
Rogue, Terry, rogue police department. You were in there. How did the jury, take all this in?
Well, it was interesting because this is the first time we've heard so much about the supposed rogue police department that was just hungry for fame and was just dying to be on this episode of Cops. And they had this juicy story fall into their laps. And the defense is trying to say, hey, this is exactly what engineered this entire plot. It wasn't her. You know, she was just going along with pressure and intimidation. And it's this cop department they're trying to allege that is behind it all. And the jury, it's kind of hard to read because, you know, at first when the prosecutor came up, he was so cut and dry. He just had a little graphic and a poster. It was handwritten. And he just did a timeline. And then it was the defense that came out was a bit more emotional. The jury didn't show too much reaction during that part.
Okay, so Jason Brody is a divorce attorney for Michael Dippolito, who was, of course, the target of this hit that did not actually happened. So we still have Michael Dippolito among us, thank God. He is not murdered, even though his wife was told he was. Jason, what do you think about this whole notion that her defense is trying to suggest that the police department effectively entrapped her in all of this?
Yeah, that's where they're going this time. They're basically putting the Boynton Beach Police Department on trial. They're taking the spotlight off of Dalia Dippolito and what she did, which was try to hire a hitman to kill Michael Dippolito. And they're taking the spotlight and putting it on the Boynton Beach Police Department because there's nothing they can do to prevent all of the tapes which show that she wanted him dead. She was 5,000% sure that she wanted him to die.
Yeah, 5,000%. Those were her words, actually on tape when they were trying to give her an out, and she said, no, 5,000%, I'm up for this. So quickly, there is another player in all of this, the informant, who is a friend of hers, Mohammed Shihadeh, and there's this video that played in court today, and it is, I mean, look, if you're on the side of the prosecution, it's just delicious, right? She's in a car in the passenger seat, and Mohammed's in the driver's seat, and they're actually going through the plan on how to navigate how this is all going to go down, and how Mohammed's actually going to get that hitman to make it all happen. Oh, it's just great. Just have a look at it.
Honestly, you're worth seriously, killing over that much money?
It's not even over the get it? Like, it's not even about the money. Like, you know that money. We'll spend it, like, in the blink of an eye. It's not about the money. Like, it's about, like, his friends and all that other stuff. Like, the thing is, it's like, okay, with his wife, like, she didn't have anything. They were, like, renting. So, like, divorcing her, it didn't matter. Like, me going and filing for divorce, like, he'll come after my ass. Period.
This is all he does. He doesn't want nothing to do with you after.
Good.
Okay? And, like, you know, you don't contact him. He don't contact you, and he might tell you, oh, it's like to get out of town or something for a day. You know?
Yeah, but the problem is that I never go out of town. So now all of a sudden it's going to go down.
I mean,
and I'm
doesn't make...
Like, I'll go to Boca or I'll go somewhere else. But
like an alibi to be somewhere.
Right,
where they
right.
can verify when it happened.
Yeah, I'll go get my hair done or something, or I'll be somewhere. But I mean, to go out of town, I never go anywhere. Right away, everyone's going to be like, oh, what a coincidence. You never go anywhere, and the day you leave, it happens.
After he kills him, whatever, your mom and all of them are not going to, like, his mom is not going to get suspicious of you or anything like that.
Why me? Like, do you know what
Didn't
killing
you say
somebody
that?
is? Yeah, but killing somebody, come on. I mean, that's, you know, nobody's going to be able to point a finger at me.
As soon as he brings you the paper, you know he's dead, you're going to have to pay him.
All right.
Seriously.
What paper is he going to bring me? I'm going to know he's dead. Like, the cops are going to go.
Newspaper, whatever,
Okay.
whatever. As long as you get the proof, you know.
Nobody's going to be able to point a finger at me, she says, on tape. Guess she didn't realize Mohammed was wearing a wire. Terri Parker, I don't know how you get past all this. Look, let's just say for grins here that the cops wanted to be on Cops. Let's just say that the cops love the show Cops and that they were all into Cops and that Cops was rolling tape on a lot of this. It still doesn't negate the stuff that's on tape. All that stuff that she said over and over, hours and hours of planning, and it's pretty damning stuff.
And yeah, how did they explain that? You know, he didn't say anything, Claypool, during the openings about that explanation. But they launched right into these, as you call them, damning videos of her. She was laughing. She's talking about her alibi, how she can't be pinned for this crime. She sounds so confident. She's dropping the F-bomb every 5 seconds. You know, it's such brutal and cold and calculated evidence against her that. And where does she think these supposed cameras are that are taping her for her, you know, big expose on TV or whatever?
This was her defense round one. On her first trial, she said, look, I thought it was all a big drama. I was just acting. None of that's actually true. Jason Brody, real quickly, the one thing she has in her court is that she says at a Chili's restaurant, she tried really hard with that same Mohammed fella who was in the driver's seat to get out of this, to back out of it, and that he pushed her and pushed her to get back on the plan, and then mysteriously there's no tape. The police say, well, that it just malfunctioned. But that's awfully convenient, and it's wonderful and, shall I say, delicious for a defense